So now for our next exciting story here, we have gone all out to give you an overview of how to get your place prepared on a budget for a bug-in. And for those of you that uh, this is something that you really want to do, and I think all of us should be prepared to do it because in a relatively light disaster situation, it's the most sensible thing to do. And there are situations where we can get trapped in our homes, whether we like it or not. So, uh, just wanted to say we're going to have, let's see, I've got a couple of notes here. We've got, okay, that's right after. Oh, good. Uh, we've got somebody with us that has been very skilled at, at carefully researching things and coming up with great ideas uh, and has spent a lot of time and effort to uh, help our team learn about this particular set of skills. And that's somebody that when she came in to help with Marcy's dad, Grandpa Joe, excuse me, as he was uh, just passing his 100th birthday and staying on a little longer, she was going to move in and do the night shift in terms of the 24/7 care we provided for Grandpa Joe. And she said, "Would you mind if I brought some survival food that I've been uh, acquiring here?" And what was it? Marcy said, "You're hired." So let's hear it for Roberta. She's listed as Marcy Sanders, Roberta Upton.
Yeah, it says Marcy Sanders, but it's me. Okay, so my particular talk tonight is on bugging in specifically. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to present it in a way that gives you the worst case scenario. Okay? You can cut it back for things like hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes. You can cut it back for that. But mine is, I'm going to give you the worst, okay? And that is a case of a nuclear attack. Okay? So the areas I'm going to cover are space to bug in, space to store preps, items for the bug in space, and items for the preps. I'm going to cover hygiene, food, security, but David's already done that, so I'm not going to cover much of it. Energy and entertainment and communication. Okay? So there are probably about 50 million videos on bugging in and bugging out on YouTube. And there's no end to those things. But I do get a lot of data from those, so they are good to watch. So my talk is a quick summary of what you need. Take notes. There's going to be a test at the end. No, I'm joking. Okay, so worst case scenario. Let's say you are close to home, but not at home. And you are, let's say, approximately 30 miles from a nuclear drop location. Okay. The things you need to do are, and your home is 30 miles away. So what you do is I'm going to have a thing at the end that gives you a step-by-step. But one of the things to remember is don't look at it and get behind something that's like concrete, right? And get home fast. Okay, so if radiation is involved at your home, you pick a place that's either a basement or a internal rooms, or if you're really lucky, you have a fallout shelter. Okay. So it's not the thing yet, Marcy. Yeah, I went okay. Okay, so the items to store, let's see. Oh, so my first picture here is just to, some people may not know what a bug out bag is. So this is my bug out bag on the back of my e-bike. Several months ago, I showed you my e-bike. Cool, huh? And one of the things you need to make sure is that in any case, you have one of those, whether you bug in or you bug out. And if you're in a nuclear situation, you need to make sure that you have that at a place where you can get to it, and preferably in your bug in space. Okay. Next is when you pick a spot, like I said, either in the basement, or this picture here is in one of our bathrooms, and there are no windows in this space. There's a couple of doors, but at one point you would make sure that it's taped off. Okay, and also that you would turn off the AC and you would tape the vent. You don't want any of those nuclear particles to get in, or at least not as much as you can. And then there are also meters that you can buy. That's another one. It's an internal hallway. You can buy meters that show you how much radiation there is, and also how much CO2, basically. And that's important because if you're going to do any kind of food preps and you're in a closed-in space, you don't want to die of carbon monoxide. Okay? So those are the meters that you will need. Okay, now items to store in your space. This is in the bathroom, the first one. And so we've designated all that under the sinks as bug-in stores. Okay, next to it is our linen closet. And part of that has some bug-in stuff in it also, and it's right across from the bathroom. Okay? And then the items to store are a Berkey. You put our Berkey's in the kitchen. So you take the Berkey and you move it to the bathroom, right? So that you can put water through there and you'll have water that you can drink. Do not use the water from outside, right? If it's a hurricane or a tornado, but you want to stay inside for a while, but let's say the water's cut off, then you can use your pool water, but not with a nuclear explosion, because the radiation comes, it settles in the water, and you take it internally, and you're toast. Okay? There's also different things you can buy, like at some of the sporting goods stores that, what's it called, a something straw, survival straw or something like that. You can drink water through that too. David said what it was. Life straws, right. Okay, so it's a Berkey, and then, okay, so water. Fill up your bathtub. We don't care how dirty it is. Keep it clean. But fill up your bathtub. You have a cooler. You fill that up. There's a bunch of plastic bottles in that cooler. Only use bottles that have had juice or on the bottom, it's rated 1 or 2. Okay. This is a specific, it's number 2 for the blue thing. And then there's extra pictures. You can find water in your hot water heater. There's 55 gallons in there. And there's a faucet at the bottom that you can empty that. Also, any rain water in rain barrels. And then there's also those blue barrels that a lot of preppers have, and they store those. You need to keep those out of the sunlight so it stays longer. Okay. Next one is food. I'm not going to give you 15 million things that you can store. What I'm suggesting here is that you plan for 2 weeks. And what you're going to do is you're going to use food that is simple to make. If your electricity is going to keep going, like if you have solar panels on your roof, then you can use your refrigerator, you're fine. You can use your freezer. They also sell like RV freezers, little ones, that you can put frozen vegetables and stuff like that. There's also freeze-dried vegetables and that kind of stuff. Get your vegetables, okay? Don't just go with junk. Okay, also pick foods that don't take a long time to cook. For one reason is that you're going to have that heating source going, and it's going to create more carbon monoxide, especially in a closed-in space. Get things like, canned vegetables, canned fruit, canned meat. They have chickens in a can. There's tuna fish. There's jerky. There's beef jerky, and there's turkey jerky if you can't eat red meat. So there's simple things to eat. Oatmeal's okay. Do not fix rice. If you undercook it, it's got arsenic in it. Do not cook beans. It's got lectins in it, and it takes 2 hours. You're not going to keep a flame going for 2 hours. So simple food. In an earlier presentation, I showed you cooking. Right, she's got a picture of it. There. That thing in the bottom of the pot is a little tuna can with cardboard and wax. Okay. And you light that and you put your pot on the grill and you heat up your food. That candles on the top are for cutting in little pieces and putting in the can to keep it going. The whole can lights, right? So if you just want to, if you try and cook it with that candle, with the wick, it's going to take all day and it's not going to make it hot. And that little white thing there is for putting out the flame. You can also raise the can by putting it on a brick or something like that. Okay? So food, heat only. Don't go for, casseroles or something like that. Like I said, you can also get an RV freezer, 12 volt, and you can run it off solar. Okay, so where's my solar pack?
What was that again? RV?
RV, recreational vehicle.
Oh,
like a camper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a boat. They have them for boats also. Do we have the solar? Thank you. Okay, so if you don't have solar on your roof, or if something happens to it, right, you should have a backup. Now, this is the one that was recommended to me when the initial list was handed out for the preppers in the club. Okay, that's the solar panels in back, and that's the battery pack. Now I've read that solar panels do and do not need a Faraday cage. So I'm playing it safe, and I've got one for it. This is a Faraday cage. Let's see, I don't know if you can see that, but over here, see, it's got inside, it's lined with cardboard. The top is lined with cardboard, the bottom is cardboard. My battery pack fits into it exactly. And that's a popcorn can. Okay. So also on the outside, I put a couple of more layers of aluminum foil. And I put this fabric on it so people don't look at it and go, what the hell is that? Okay, so mainly for this, you are going to run your lights, because if you're in the middle of the house with the door sealed up, you're not going to sit in the dark for 2 weeks. Okay, so you need some light. Then also small things like if the phones are still working, you can charge your phones and stuff like that. I would not recommend getting an electric stove to run it off of your solar. You're going to empty it. Okay, you're going to need bedding. So you can get some camping stuff to put in your, you've already got it at the forest, you got to get some more. So get cushions from the couch, or bed balls or comforters or something like that. So that's your bedding. Pick something that you can roll up and get out of the way during the day so you're not stepping all over it all the time. Okay, hygiene. Okay, the first thing on hygiene is Marcy's got, I'd set it up in the shower. You see my picture here to the right? It's set up in a shower. There's a drain in the floor, right? So you're not going to get water all over the place. This is adjacent to the bug-in space. The cooler here also has bubbles in it, and that gets filled with water. If you've never taken a bucket bath in your life, you've got to learn how to do it. Basically, you dip the washcloth in, you get wet, put a little soap on it, scrub down, and then take some water and rinse it off, and then you dry off. It keeps you clean, and you don't use a lot of water. They also have at the, like CVS or pharmacies, they have things called shampoo gloves. They have things called, they have a spray with no water in it that you can wash your hair. And they also have this thing called shampoo caps. Okay, so there's many different ways to wash your hair. You don't want to use a lot of water to wash your hair because it takes a lot of water. Use the simpler methods. Toilet. Okay. The one on the left is the standard camping bucket composting toilet. That brown thing next to it was bought for the composting, and it's basically it's kind of like shredded cardboard, not newspaper, like shredded cardboard, right? And it's mainly used for like pets. If you don't have the bucket with the top on it, then see next to it, it's got the toilet. You turn the water off on your toilet and you flush it. So that empties out all the water. And then you use a big plastic bag, stuff it in, and use that for your composting toilet, and you use the same stuff to absorb the smell. Okay, it works pretty decently, I try to get a little different space than where you're going to be staying for 2 weeks, like next to it if possible. But yeah. Okay, clothing. Don't plan on washing anything. if you do, you're going to use a very little bit of water and it's going to drip all over the place. So have about 4 or 5 shirts. And I'm going to tell you this one thing. I thought it was very cute. The CEO of Levi Strauss never washes his blue jeans. So he says if they get really gross, he puts them in the bottom of the shower and he steps all over them with some soap and rinses them off. This is the CEO of Levi Strauss. So blue jeans are your best bet. They last a long time. Okay, now I'm going to skip my section here on security. You like my picture? Because David covered a lot of that. But I want to add one simple sentence. Don't broadcast you are a prepper. It is similar to advertising you won the lottery. Okay, you got that? People are going to be all over you for your stuff. Okay. Next thing, energy. Good. So you're going to need lights. If you've got your battery pack, you're all set. But otherwise, they've got, you know, those solar lights for your garden path? They've got huge amounts of different ones. So get some of those, keep them in the window, have an extension cord for your pack, for your battery pack. That lamp there would also plug into your extension cord. That's an LED light. Okay. And then you've got other different kinds of lights. You have a Bic lighter for your food, and that's most of it. And have a power strip for your different stuff. Next to the last category is entertainment. Okay, you're going to go crazy if you don't have something to do. So you can play games, you can draw, you can read a book. If you've got kids, make sure you've got toys. You can do all kinds of stuff. Just put something there. You know, if you've got a CD player, you can listen to your congresses and, you know, the LH tapes. There's huge amounts of stuff you can do. My last category is communications. There's walkie-talkies, but that only reaches a couple of doors away. And then there's a ham radio. So that's a picture of a ham radio right there. Okay, now there's a short thing here on research out your location and know if there is a prime target. If there's not, you're lucky. If there are, then make sure you don't live within 30 miles of it, 25 to 30 miles. In my location here, we've got an Air Force base that's rated as a prime target. So at most, radiation comes down to a safe level after 2 weeks, per the research I did. It goes down by 80% after 1 day. Okay, so that's a lot, but there's still something there. Fallout radiation for a moderate device, which is mainly what exists on the planet these days, is a radius of 1 mile. So that's a diameter of 2 miles. Okay, so from the place that it hits, it goes out. The very damaging stuff is 1 mile out. This includes flying debris. So if one is downwind, and example of the wind is blowing at 20 miles per hour, you've got 1 hour to get everything done. and to get into your safe space. Also remember, with a nuke, there's EMP, electromagnetic pulse, and that will affect all the municipal utilities, electricity pumps for water, phones, newer cars, anything prior to 1980, you can still drive down the street. So if you've got something that's prior to 1980, good for you. That won't be affected. So you need to get your water within that time period. It could differ in your area. So always have some water in storage, and you have to change it out every 6 months. Okay? Conclusion, step by step. If you see something or you know something's going to happen, find immediate shelter. That means get behind, you know where the target is, you know, the prime target is. So get behind like a concrete wall, run to a basement of some place, get out of the way. Do not look at the flash. Do not look at it. You'll go blind, okay? You can go blind up to 15 miles, but that's temporary. If you see the flash, cover your clothing and your eyes with something, especially your eyes. And if you have a mask, put it on, right? And then get home. When you get home, you take off all of your clothes and all of your jewelry, and you junk them. You put them in a black plastic bag, you tie a knot, and you put it outside. Then you go take a shower. Right, you just wash it all down, and you put on clothing that's been in a safe location. If the water's still working, fill everything up, but you should have most things filled up already. Put the Berkey in your bug-in space. If you have a filter, like an air filter, put that in your space. Let's see, we're almost done here. Put solar panels for the portable solar system in the window. Hook up the power pack. Run the extension cord to the bug-in location. Lock up the house and all the windows. Turn off the AC and air systems. Tape up the cracks on the doors and the windows and the AC vents. You should also have a CO2 meter. Put it down low. Carbon monoxide is heavier than air. So you put it down low. So when it reads that you're running out of oxygen, you'll know when that is. If it's a real bad situation outside, I don't know, get some tanks of oxygen to put in your bug out space. But you're going to have to, like, I'm not going to get into that too much on my talk. Okay, you hunker down. You keep in, I won't say it. You just be nice to your fellow people. Scientologists call keeping your TRs and use ARC. And the last step is you either postulate or pray for rain and wind, because that'll wash out most of the fallout. That's it.
So we had a question about the name of this stuff that was in Roberta's talk. I put it into chat. Can you read it, or is it backwards?
No, it's good.
Okay. It's Katie, Katee, clean and cozy small pet bedding. Kaytee, clean and cozy small pet bedding. I put it in chat.